What is up, everyone? I'm Skratch. Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I am currently on the test server, guys. In today's video, we're gonna have a look at the new mythical champion, Kurosa the Covetous. Now, as a boss, she's an absolute pain in the ass, okay? We're gonna see how good she actually is as a champion rather than a super OP boss. Now, she will be available from summoning events throughout the Chaos Awakes event, but you're not going to be able to just go and open primals out of the events and have a chance to summon her. Only once the Chaos Awakes event is done, at some point in August, if I remember it correctly. She's a Force Affinity champion. The first form is a support form. She introduces a new buff and a new debuff. She looks pretty interesting design-wise. A lot of people say, well, she looks like Padma. A lot of people say she used like Umbral. So, yeah, she's kind of like in between, to be honest with you guys. Either way, the base stats do not look bad at all. At least on the support form, 19k HP. Her multipliers, her shield, her healing, everything is based off her own attack. So even on the support form, you don't want to basically go on with a build that will give you high HP and high defense while you're neglecting the attack, because it's not going to benefit you at all, right? On the second form, she has pretty good HP once again, very good base attack. Let's quickly check the skills. So the A1, AoE attack, heals all allies. The heal is proportional to this champion's attack. The A2, a cleanse on all of the allies, an increased attack, and a shield on all of your team. The shield, once again, is proportional to the value of her attack. The A3, which is a very weird skill because this will place a taunt on herself, a fortify buff on herself, which basically will reduce the ignore defense effects from the enemies, and will place an unkillable buff on all allies except this champion. So that's one of the things that I find really weird, in my opinion. Why not put unkillable on herself as well, especially that she puts the taunt? What's the point to have unkillable on the other allies while she has the taunt and takes all of the damage, okay? The fortify buff, in my opinion, is just not enough to keep her alive, right? Because the enemies will still smack the heck out of her, and the rest of the team will be alive. But overall, I still think she's a pretty nuts champion. She's pretty damn effective overall in a lot of content, you know? Especially PvP. With a passive, receives 15% less damage for each ally alive, which overall is really good, and instantly transforms this champion into their alternate form whenever the last living ally is killed, okay? So once again, it's kind of like a contradiction with her A3 skill, because the rest of the allies will be alive, and she's going to be the one that dies, okay? So her passive does not really have a chance to kind of like come in play. Then, moving over to the Metamorph, on the A1, a triple hitter. This is actually a very crazy skill. If this attack kills an enemy, deals pure damage to all other enemies. If the other enemies are not bosses or minions, the amount of pure damage dealt is equal to 30% of the initial target's max HP. If the other enemies are bosses or minions, the pure damage dealt is equal to 10% of their max HP instead, and this attack cannot be critical. So this works really well on waves, can work really nice on bosses with minions. Then on the A2 skill, an AoE attack, before attacking, steals all buffs from all enemies. If they have a lower attack on or equal, actually no, it's just lower attack than her, the effect cannot be resisted. Basically, every support champion in the game also places a weaken on all of the enemies. Targets whose attack is equal to or lower than this champion's attack cannot resist the effect, okay? So it will land the weaken. Then with the A3, places a shatter buff, which will enhance the capability to ignore defense, an increased crit rate buff on the champion, and will place a true fear on all enemies. Same story, if they have lower attack or equal, they cannot resist it, and grants an extra turn. Now, I do want to mention one thing about the whole story with the buffs, the extra turns. I wish she would have had an increased attack instead of the crit rate, or an increased attack plus the other buffs as well. As it is right now, if you start in the first form and before you have a different champion buffing, by the time you get to Metamorph, you get the extra turn, you're going to lose the increased attack, which really, really sucks in my opinion. I don't know if they completely missed the whole point of getting all of these extra turns and losing all of the other buffs that you have on. But it's really not great. The increased attack from the first form, it should have been on this form. And the Shatter buff, it should have been on the other form, maybe to support the other damage dealers around her. With a passive, deals 15% more damage for each dead ally. Each critical hit boosts this champion's turn meter by 10 for each dead ally. So you want to have dead allies in order for her to basically maximize the damage. Now, as I've mentioned, unfortunately, it's a bit of a contradiction with everything that she's meant to do, while she's not allowing herself to do it, because she's keeping the other allies alive. She dies. GG's, okay? That's how it goes. And she has an attack aura for all battles, 35%. But enough being said, let me just quickly show you the build. Then we're going to go over and test a bit the damage. We're going to activate the blasting on her, because at the moment it's not active, so we don't gain those extra stats. I have 44k HP, 7.2k attack, 249 speed, 99 crit rate. We are buffing the crit rate, so we don't have to worry about that. 263 crit damage. No relic equipped on her. Masteries, we have offense and support. I went to lasting gifts to try and keep that increased attack up for longer if we can. And then we have Helm Smasher as tier 6. If we're going to go into the Dragon's Lair first, guys, basically just to have a quick look at the animations, the damage, etc. You guys know the drill with it. So let me just quickly show you what happens if you buff. Okay, so there you go. We have that increased attack on her. She's going to Metamorph. Okay, we lost that increased attack. Now we can go straight into damage, okay? The problem right here is that we're not going to make use of that Shatter. We're not going to make use of that increased crit rate. We're going to do that. We gain those buffs, but we lose the increased attack. So that's why it sucks. I really wish you would have had an increased attack on that skill. And the AoE attack. The damage does not seem that crazy as it is. We're going to see once we're putting the blasting on her and once we're trying it again with increased attack. But we're going to do that in a second. First, I want to quickly show you the A1 skill as well. So let's go versus the Venus right here. So we can gain that increased attack. Hopefully, the enemies won't kill her. You see, she's getting some big hits in there. Okay, so now we can go with the A1, okay? Check this out. 65k. And look at that, 190k, 156k, because it's based on their own max HP. The A1 skill is actually really, really crazy. We're going to try it in a different dungeon on minions and stuff, especially on the spider dungeon. I'm very curious to see how it performs in there. It's 10% of the max HP versus the boss, right? So, if we are going to do this, for example, we can cleanse the A1, basically. I'm quickly going to show you, actually, this as well, okay? So removes, places an increased attack, and a shield, okay? So the shield should be bigger because we are gaining that increased attack. You see, increased attack, and then the shield. So it's not a super crazy shield, but to be honest, I do not have like the most disgusting stats on her either, so that definitely makes quite a bit of a difference. Now, right now, I have increased attack for 3 turns, thankfully, because of the masteries. This skill will basically put a taunt, the 4th. Let me just actually show you how this works, okay? Okay, so I'm going to let the enemies take turns. Hopefully, they will all do it. I'm not going to boost the turn meter anymore. She took a turn already. Go A1 right there. So she's going to get some healing. 21k healing. Okay. You see? That's the problem. She has that taunt. It doesn't matter that she puts that buff on herself. She's still going to go down instantly. And she puts unkillable on the rest of the champions. Whoever designed the skill set, the kit of the champion, honestly, I think that person never played Raid at all. And I think he just randomly selected some effects from left and right and chucked them all together and made her skill set, because it makes absolutely no freaking sense whatsoever. At least that's my opinion on it. Because she's gonna die while the rest of the allies are alive. And her passive literally requires you the opposite. The passive on the other form literally requires you the opposite, okay? So we're gonna get Crushing Rand on her, actually. And now we should be having much better stats. 8.1k attack, 300 crit damage. More crit damage would be nice on her. No relic. I'm still not gonna equip a relic on her, guys. So we're gonna go back in here, and I'm gonna go straight to the damage this time around. So Crushing Rand, of course, it makes an absolutely massive, massive difference. I've just done a mistake. I'm so used to just instantly buff that increased attack with Arbiter. Let me just use the other skill. So I'm gonna Metamorph. Gonna do that. Let's gain all of the buffs. And after, I'm gonna use the increased attack. So let's do that. Now we gain the increased attack. So let's see. Yeah, 285, 400k. So the damage kind of like goes to the next level. That is, of course, a massive, massive boost from a Crushing Rand. Now, I'm very curious to see what numbers she will throw in the spider. Should be 10% of their HP, right? Let's actually go from here to the spiders then. So let's go. We're going to drop this team around a bit. I should bring in an increased attack champion and a defense down. But at the same time, I kind of need a support as well. So I'm going to bring in a different support champion in here. Let's do that. And where is my Lydia? We want to have the defense down and weaken, though. No hacks, but hacks could actually be pretty damn nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to buff. That's fine. The spiderlings are pretty squishy anyway. Okay, so that's Newt. I'm going to Metamorph directly, and I'm gonna go straight into the A1. $1.4 million on the boss. Basically, an enemy max HP, right? Pretty damn nice. Plus, it had like, I think around 500k extra on top of it, which I'm not really sure exactly what it was. But it almost felt like 2 hits. 2 damage numbers coming up, right? For you guys, it's going to be much easier to notice exactly what happened, right? Because you were able to pay slightly more attention than me at that thing. So we can do that now. And we can do an AoE. Doing a bit of damage. I kind of want to get that increased attack on her again so I can go with A1. Let's get some more turn meter. Oh no, I was going to say, Galatir, do not kill them. Let's put that on the boss. So, basically versus minions and stuff is great. Okay, still no increased attack. That's fine. We can maybe try it without the increased attack and see how that will perform. But we have no defense down or weaken on any of the enemies. So that probably is going to be a bit of an issue. But we should be getting all of the buffs now, though. So we can pay better attention, or at least I can pay better attention to what was that second number coming from her. So I'm going to go A1 with him. Okay. Okay, still not Kurosa's turn. There we go. So A1. The 500k maybe was from Spiderlings. No, it wasn't. So 1.4 plus another 500k. I still do not understand from where is the other 500k coming, right? Not sure, unless I'm missing something. But basically, it's 2 million damage on the boss. So that's pretty damn nuts. That's pretty damn nuts. There's no point to let the fight go in because I don't care about getting the gear or wasting the energy. That's why we're good to be on the test server. So we have 7 million damage from her, 6.8 from Newt. Actually, crazy thinking about it that she can compete a bit with enemy max HP champions in a boss fight, right? Especially only with minions. If you have no minions, it's not gonna be it's not gonna do nothing. Now, let's see how we can actually play her in arena. I'm actually pretty damn curious to see what we can pull off with her in arena. He should be having gear. You should be having gear as well. And I'm not going to bring in another damage dealer because that's going to be a bit pointless. Instead, I'm just going to bring in a lockout champion and move on from there, basically. So let's see. The main thing is losing that freaking increased attack. You know, that's the very annoying part, in my opinion. Because no matter how you're playing it, unless you have a second champion to buff that or something else, you will have the exact same issue, right? So, Metamorph, or I could just not use that skill, I guess. I guess so. But, yeah, extra turn. Let's see, A1, 98. Okay, we hit a shield, so that damage does not look very, very good. Okay, Gizmak. Let's actually Metamorph, reset the skill so we can gain that increased attack. I'm gonna have to basically do something else where I can actually bring in a champion that drops their stone skin. So probably I'm gonna bring Sulfurion instead of somebody. So right now, once again, I can do this. They have stone skin, so that's not gonna be very helpful. 100. Oh! Oh, baby! They cannot resist. We managed to steal the stone skin and they just got wrecked. They got wrecked. For a second, I forgot that she steals the buffs. So we're supposed to try directly with that skill before, man. But of course, it's a 50-50 chance to remove the stone skin. So it's not like it's guaranteed, you know. The A1, pretty decent. Not enough to kill this Ancora by the looks of it. And I think we still had increased attack on, but maybe I'm wrong. I forgot about removing the freaking buffs from the enemy, though. I forgot about that part. So let's go again in the exact same format and see if we're going to be more lucky this time around with stripping the buffs. So I'm still going to lock them. Okay, one of them still has the stone skin. This is actually great because we can really see what damage she can deal. So let's Metamorph. And we're going to go without an increased attack. In many cases, it happens where you don't have increased attack, right? So we're going to attempt to do that. Hopefully no Polymorph. And now we can go with the AoE. Let's see. Okay, we haven't killed them. We landed weaken on some of them. And as you guys can probably notice, the damage without that increased attack, it doesn't feel that good, right? I mean, I was expecting to be able to kill some of those ones. We got block revive. Okay, so that sucks. I'm gonna bring in Sulfurion and not count on us stripping that stone skin from the enemy. So who should we drop? Let's drop Galatir and Sulfurion. Where are you hiding? There we go. So like this, we just melt the stone skin and go in straight for that nuke. Hopefully. And I'm gonna do actually something else. I was gonna try to somehow boost that increased attack, but actually it doesn't really make a difference, to be honest with you guys. So I'm not gonna use this freaking skill right now because it's a bit pointless. I'm gonna go straight for this one. So we should be stealing all of those buffs from everybody except the protected ones. Yep, we stole them. But still, even though we had an increased attack, they had an increased defense, the damage was actually lacking, man. Like, how can that boss hit so freaking hard and she just doesn't cut it in here, right? Like, isn't it a bit strange? Isn't it a bit strange? Yes, you do need to have your allies dead, but Let's see if we can somehow let all the other allies die except her. So I'm actually gonna change these. Put her in the front. So we have no speed lead. She's gonna go A1. Okay. Oh, damn. They haven't died, all of them. One dead. I'm gonna buff. Hopefully, that Narcissus is not... Oh, no. I was gonna say, please do not get that up and running. The cooldown decrease, man. That sucks. Oh, damn it. He's gonna just wipe everybody now with the A2 skill. Okay. Yeah, he's gonna wipe them now. Okay, not yet. Okay. We might be in business here. We might be in business. But that Veil on Lazarius is gonna prompt everybody to basically attack her. So we can Metamorph. We have 2 dead allies, right? We should be getting 30% more damage. 30% more damage because of it. $34,000 on Sifi, bro. Isn't that a bit weak sauce? The A1, literally the A1 hit harder than that A2 skill. I'm honestly polarized by this champion right now. I'm not even sure what to think. Does she suck or is she good? What the heck is happening? You know, like, the damage number felt pretty good in the dungeon. They don't feel that great in here. They do not feel that great in here. Let's see. Versus the dwarf. Can we kill the dwarf? Because we're not going to be able to crit versus the dwarf, right? I mean, the HP burn deals a lot of damage on its own. We got a weak hit there, but 35k non-weak hit on him. So he's not going to have higher HP than that. That's the thing with the dwarf. I mean, that passive sounds so freaking interesting. No crit hits versus him, but you don't need a crit hit to kill him. A regular hit is going to put him straight into the ground, you know. Let's try to see something that's not Marius, because Marius will absolutely dump on her. Let's go versus Rotos. And once again, actually, how can I keep her alive, man, while the rest are dead? I want to see her instantly metamorphing, right? I mean, the best option is literally this. Wait. We're gonna find out. I guess we're not going to find out. I need a different team, because this one, it seems like that Solus has no freaking gear because he's way too slow. Okay. What about this one? Oh, I can already see Haprak absolutely dumping on her heart. Okay, Metamorph. Fear, extra turn. Okay. So it's basically bang, bang, bang. That's how you can make her Metamorph and rag the enemy team. That's actually nuts. That's actually nuts. Like, she wiped the entire freaking team on her own. No increased attack because she was like, I don't need that crap. And yeah, team power, 630k. So the team is well built. You can definitely see that. I was expecting not to do it, to be honest. But it seems like this is the way to play this champion. This is the way to play this champion, okay? You just gotta let the enemy dump on your other champions before she even takes a turn. Okay. There we go. Queen of Hearts. Oh no, we got petrified. Oh no, we got petrified. Let's go back again versus the exact same team. Maybe we're not gonna get petrified again. I want to try her quickly in Hydra just to see what sort of damage she deals, you know. Okay. So, there's no point to use this skill. Or let's just say there is a point to use it, so we gain the buff, right? And now we can just see if we're wiping the Queen of Hearts or not. They had increased defense. Ooh, baby, look at all of those buffs that we stole from them. That is very disgusting. That is very, very disgusting. For a second, I thought that she was shit, pardon my French, because before, with the full team around her, she did not perform that good. But it seems like she doesn't need a team. She's a one-man army, okay? She's a one-man army. So basically, if you want her to do crazy things, you basically need to have a trash team plus her. And then she gets the job done, as it seems. Let's see if we can find another one, and then we're gonna call it a day. I don't think she's gonna be very good versus the Tarichkas, to be honest. Maybe let's go versus this one. Okay. So once again, we're just gonna get the buffs. And extra turn. Let's see. Wow! 300k on every single one of them. We stole all of their freaking buffs and we dumped on them so freaking hard. Jesus. Damn, Kurosa. I don't know. I still don't know how I'm going to play this champion if I'll ever get her on my account. Because it's honestly pretty crazy that you need to have a very bad team next to her so everybody dies, okay? It's very strange. Very strange. But I guess we're going to find a way. We're going to find a way and basically make the most out of her. I still think the exact same thing about her skill set. Whoever designed it, I think he just randomly picked some skills and buffs and debuffs, threw them on her and was like, okay, we've got a new champion. Let's put it in the Chaos Awakes. I quickly want to give her a go on the Hydra Clan Boss just to see what sort of damage number she brings in here. So I think he doesn't have gear. I think I moved the gear from him, so I can take him out. Let's bring in Kurosa, Hermosa, and of course, when we're decapitating heads, the A1 will not do that extra damage, unfortunately. So that kind of sucks at the same time because they've changed Hydra. So when you decapitate a head, everything that is in your favor counts that you're killing the heads. But in fact, everything that should work in your favor counts that you're not killing the head. So yeah, great job on the changes for the Hydra. Great, great stuff. So right here, we can put a taunt, we can put unkillable, but that will be a problem with the Mischief Head because most likely is going to steal all of her buffs. I can put the increase attack, the cleanse, and the shield, but I do not need it, as you guys can probably notice. So instead, I'm going to Metamorph, and I'm just going to start doing some random damage. And that's without defense down, and we ignore 100% of the target's defense, but we managed to land weaken on everybody, which is really, really good. Okay, and let's put the block buffs, and slowly get her up and running. See what numbers we're getting out of her. I'm curious about her second form. The first form can be good as well to support your team, but you do not really want to have that freaking unkillable in here. So we're gonna do that again. Gain the crit rate, A1, 100k, 115k, 100k again. This actually can be really nice with a Theox. It seems like she could potentially bring in a lot of damage from there. So that was his A2 on Calamitous. Calamitous is a monster, by the way. I'm still seeing people complaining that he's not good. Calamitous deals a lot of freaking damage, guys. He's really good after the buff. Not really a PvP champion, but he is a PvE monster. So if you pulled him, do not be disappointed. You've got a good mythical now. Okay. I'm going to wait with the A2. I'm going to go A1 again. 91, 98, 77. That was without the increased attack. 180 to 20 from Calamitous. So he does deal more damage, but we had the increased attack on him. So let's apply that. Put that provoke up and running again. Gonna self buff to have more buffs on. Let's get an increased attack. And let's see the AoE now. Okay, 250k on non-decapitated heads. It doesn't seem like on the very high end necessarily, but decentish damage. Calamitous deals a bit more. And my Calamitous, I don't even think he's fully booked. No, he's not. So that makes quite a bit of a difference. Usually it's around 20% additional damage from there. So we can do this extra turn. We still have the increased attack. Let's go with the A1 again. 170, 170, 170. That's very good damage with the A1 in here, though. Very good damage with the A1 in here. So let's Metamorph with Calamitous and bring in the defense down and the Hex. Receive 400k. Much better damage with Calamitous' AoE. That's why I'm saying, like, her AoE damage, at least in here, it doesn't seem that great. But I feel like she's really not a champion designed for this type of fights. And that's probably, as you guys noticed as well in Arena, how much of a difference it made once the allies were dead and when the allies were alive, okay? So in here, she will really not perform that good. But I do not have the increased attack, so I'm going to basically wait a little bit longer to use that AoE attack. And then go with the AoE to see on decapitated heads what sort of numbers we're getting. Is this an AoE? I do not want to use that. So let's go here. Get a weak hit, preferably, so we do not break the other heads. Ah, come on, Duchess. Your freaking 4-turn cooldown. Even my grandma moves faster, man. Come on. Just freaking bring those buffs up and running. Jesus. And now I have fear because I've targeted the wrong head like an idiot. I'm gonna get rid of that freaking trash Duchess and bring somebody in that's better. 4-turn cooldown. That's why Duchess and Siphi are not that great for PvE, man. Compared to other units that we have in the game at the moment. They nerfed them. A long time ago they nerfed them because they used to have a 3-turn cooldown. Both Siphi and both Duchess. And back in the day when they released them, they were too OP and they nerfed them. Okay, so get the buffs. I'm gonna go A1 because I'm gonna get an increased attack in a second. I really want to see it on decapitated head, so I'm gonna Metamorph. I'm gonna go with Calamitous and try to wipe as many as possible. You see 345k, 250k. Not too shabby. Okay, we lost the buffs. It doesn't matter. So we're gonna use the AoE attack once again here. Close to 300k, 280, 270, 290, something like that. So ain't that bad. Okay, we got feared. We lost it, thankfully. So we're gonna go A1, 1, 2, 3. Ah, damn, I thought that I might have enough damage to kill the head. And see what happens if that A1 actually works in here. Most likely it doesn't. I really do not think it does. But I might be wrong. So, let's do that. And we're gonna put weaken like this. 700k. Okay-ish. Come on, 2x speed. Let's buff with the increased attack. Let's target this one right here. Let's apply the debuffs. Man, if I go with his AoE, I'm gonna wipe everybody out. So I don't want to do that. I do not want to do that. But I want to go with the A1 versus this head right here and see what happens. 1, 2. Yeah. No surplus damage. As I expected, because it doesn't count as a kill. It doesn't count as a kill. So I'm gonna push her thermometer a bit. I kind of want to use that AoE again, if I can, but seems like not yet. So let's go here. A1, A1, A1. Weak hits. That's fine because we're going versus a spirit head. I still have one right there, but we don't have defense down and weaken, and we kind of had like the same issue. Calamitous 1.2 million. Not booked, by the way, as I've mentioned. But this AoE should allow us to see now. So I have increased attack for 3 turns. I can buff with this skill. And basically land a weaken. She lands the weaken before she attacks. Yeah, so she should be landing the weaken and do the damage after. Oh, no, the weaken comes in after. Damn, that sucks. So we got 900k damage. I really don't think she's great for this type of content. As you notice for PvP, she was crazy when everybody was dead. She was crazy when everybody was dead. Probably we're going to be able to do it with relics. So either we're going to run the aspect of Siroth relic on her, so she stays alive while the rest are dying. That can be one of the options that we need to kind of like take in consideration. Then, of course, a different blessing. Probably Ward of the Fallen as a blessing would be much better, because that will basically give her more survivability. So let's actually just quickly try that once as well. So I'm going to put this as well, and we're going to go into PvP like this with a different blessing, a relic, and I'm going to see if we can find a slightly better way to basically run this champion. And we can go versus a stronger team like this one right here. This one right here. Now I will have to lock that Armans, because it seems that he's ready to create me problems. No point to try and drop that. I could meld their stone skin, or not meld the stone skin, activate the block damage, and then have her steal the block damage as an option. Let's see. So we're gonna go in like that. Gonna bring in a Krixia, and why not? Let's bring in Armans as well. The problem that we will have is that Marichka will revive them all, right? So that's one thing to keep in mind. She will steal the buffs from Siegfried, which is good. Okay, I do not have the Dead Dealer, so hopefully my Krixia will not weak hit on Armans. Okay, we got resisted on something there, but I'm not sure on what, so I'm gonna polymorph him instead. If I use this, I don't know. Isn't she gonna die like this, man? You see? That's why it's so weird the way they designed this skill set. Why unkillable on the rest and not on her and not the rest? It makes more sense, but what do I know? What do I know? I've only been playing this game for like 6-7 years. So I'm gonna use the A1 and heal. Okay, block damage on him. Siegfried, okay. The unkillable is gone from the rest. I think the aspect of Siroth already procced, if I'm not mistaken. So let's do that. I think she's gonna die. I think she's gonna die. If I let that Siegfried go ham, she's gonna die. Yeah. Because they activated that relic before. So maybe, just maybe, a different team. Not Siegfried and the others. We've already tried this one. Let's give it another go here. Yeah, but that here the stone skin basically did all the work. This is crazy though. Like, this is so freaking crazy. This is just so freaking crazy how she wipes them all like that. It's just crazy how it works. Either way, guys, I think this could potentially be a better way to build her like that. Maybe in the future we're gonna have some other relics. That first form is a bit all over the place. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.